Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week of July 13th. This week, you start with this full moon in Aries. It says a fiery climax approaches. You have this fixed moon. It says hold your vision. Yeah, I do think it's a good time for Libra to have a vision that they stick to, like seeing something through to the end. Remember, you have all this energy in Aries, your opposite sign. And so, the whole point of Aries is that they are initiators, but they're not always good at finishing things. And so the whole point of the energy is to start something and see it through to the end, right? Especially with Saturn there. Saturn really rewards responsibility. And, taking responsibility for something, like especially like a project or a goal or something you want to accomplish means, seeing it through all the way to the end and doing everything you can to make it happen. So I think it is a great time for Libra specifically to really focus in on what they're trying to, accomplish or create in their life. Like what, just one good thing. It doesn't even have to be, something huge or anything big. And it would be a great time to work towards it. You have a lot of people. Sometimes this is something I pay attention to, Libra, is we see a lot of court cards like right off the bat, right? And so whenever we have a bunch of people cards showing up in a reading, to me, it kind of says that it could be a very social week for you, or that you just are dealing with a lot of people. So definitely popping into my head. In your current general energies for the week, you have the King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands showing up here. If you want love, definitely could be love. You've been getting love with me recently, so definitely could be a solid connection. I would say King and Queen of Pentacles are definitely very solid. They are two people who want to build something on a strong foundation. And they're two people who really want to make something work as well. So I usually find that these two create a great connection just in general. You also have the King and Queen of Wands, which is great. The King and Queen of Pentacles alone can be a little bit boring and a little bit too predictable. Sorry, I'm choking now. But the Queen of Wands with the King of Wands, adds a little bit something extra, a little bit more excitement to the connection. So again, I feel like this is one person. I feel like this could be the two people, you and another person, in the connection, and this is like how you act, right? Is Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, King of Wands. Like you have a good mixture of both. I also feel very good about money. Like, I'm not saying you're making mind-blowing amounts of money this week, but, I definitely feel your mind is on your money. And, you have this, you have the Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, very good cards for building long-term wealth and doing things that can set you up for long-term success as well, which is great. We had Uranus and Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is now in Gemini. Uranus and Taurus loves anything permanent, loves creating things that could potentially lead to long-term wealth and things like that. So, again, if you're doing anything to build something long-term in your life, this definitely looks very positive, very good. So I feel there could be a lot of success for you here with the King of Pentacles. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles can be a card of your resources. Now, I think a lot of you Libras have skills that you should be using that would increase your resources, is what this is saying. If we look at this outside of love, with the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, he has these grapes on his cloak. And the grapes in the tarot represent something that is difficult to grow, but he can do well. So it basically says you have a skill that might be difficult for most people, but is good for you, or that you can do well. And, I would be using those skills with the Queen of Pentacles for sure, because that could definitely increase your resources. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands about being bold, being assertive, going for what you want, learning as you go. I'm pretty sure you get the Queen of Wands with me quite a bit in the readings. So it's definitely, I would say it's more of like a time of learning as you go here, Libra. The other thing is I kind of feel like you're attracting a person like that, where it's like you're probably always right, Libra, with people, right? You're ruled by Venus. And so I think in love, sometimes maybe the curse of Libra is that when you get into a relationship, it's like you kind of already know how it's going to go before you get into it, if that makes sense, which kind of ruins the surprise, right? But also it's like maybe, it's like sometimes I think it's nice to live in fantasy, right? It's like, sure, it's like, can it hurt us if we come up with a fantasy around a person? Absolutely. But it's like sometimes it's nice to escape every once in a while, as long as you're also being realistic, right? And I don't know, I just kind of feel like you're attracting a person where maybe they're like less predictable, or maybe you just can't read them as well, but like not in a bad way. I mean this in a good way. It's like it's allowing for some freaking mystery here, right? And so that's kind of what it feels like for me, for you. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, damn, work looks really good. I've been saying this to you. I think out of all the signs, Libra has probably had the hardest time work-wise. Specifically getting something that they're actually qualified for. So if we look at your astrology, you've been struggling with this since at least 2016. And, luckily now that is changing. And so I'm not saying things are perfect, but I definitely feel that there could be, over the next couple of years here, much, much better opportunities where you can stand out at work or, where you can do things that actually do work. And, all that would be great. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Four of Wands. Yeah, definitely marriage potential. So if you want love, there could be a very deep commitment that you're making to a person here. I feel like this would be very good for you. I also feel a lot of you are just committing to something in work, like I said. So if you have a job or a career, you could really be committing to that one thing. And the commitment to what you're doing is what will make you very successful here. I also get something about freedom here because the Four of Wands is the card of setting yourself free. And so a lot of you could be setting yourself free from things that have been keeping you stuck. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I would just be more flexible. Queen of Wands, again, has to learn as she goes. And so if you're starting anything new this week, or I would say, for the next few months, really, if you're starting anything new, that just being flexible and not just like assuming that things are going to go a certain way. The problem is I think you're usually right. Is definitely the feeling I get on that Queen of Wands. It's like you guess, and I feel like your guesses are usually correct, and it's like you end up getting disappointed. It's kind of funny because I'm a Pisces, and this is a very Piscean thing to do, where it's like Pisces, people say Pisces is the most intuitive, which is true, but Pisces doesn't always trust their intuition. And it's like, that's kind of what I feel here, is that some of you, it's like you're proving yourself right, and you're like, I wish I could just be wrong for once. And I actually feel like you are wrong in a good way. You know what I mean? It's not even wrong. It's just like, I feel like if this is a person, for example, it's like, I just feel like there will be surprises where they surprise you, like in a good way, and based off of like things that you really didn't pick up on. There's like I said, there's like a healthy amount of mystery, and not as in they're being secretive or holding things back. I mean, like this is a like positive relationship thing that we're talking about here. Same thing in work or business. It's like if you're starting a business, like I think there could be little surprises where it's like you make more than you expected, or things go better than you expected, or maybe you're natural at doing something that is required for the business. It's like good stuff. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Turkey spirit. It says, give with grace and gratitude. You have the Swan spirit. It says, time for a deep dive. I think, if it was possible for everyone to get this card, they probably would. The Swan spirit. We are definitely in a time where we can't just dip our toes in the water. We have to make the full commitment to what we're doing. And if we do that, we'll do very well. If we don't make the full commitment, we will not do very well. So I would definitely make sure that you're making the full commitment. The turkeys are great for abundance and, kind of like focusing on abundance. It's kind of like, turkeys, this is going to sound weird, but it's popping into my head. It's like turkeys, they scratch around, looking for food on the ground. If you've ever seen wild turkeys, they kind of scratch around looking for stuff. I don't know. That's popping into my head for you where it's like, I think it would be a good time for you to like scratch around. It would be a good time for you, especially in work or business or anything having to do with your abundance, to like look a little bit deeper, look under the leaves for the bugs that you're trying to find here, Libra. I think that it's saying you don't have to go crazy. It's not like you're getting out a backhoe and you're like digging, tons of dirt out of the ground. It's like you're just removing the surface. You're looking a little bit below the surface. And I think that like, on anything that could potentially bring you abundance, work, business, career, love abundance, health abundance, whatever, like looking just like a little bit deeper, I think would make all the difference in the world. You have the Hangman, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Yes, people who can do this are going to be dangerous in the future, in a good way. I mean, like dangerous as in very successful, because, we are entering into a time of fixed thinking. Neptune and Aries. It just is what it is. Neptune and Aries is, like we're going to see new cults come up. I talk about this all the time because you don't want to join a cult. You definitely don't want to join the cult of stick a plug up my ass and plug me into the robot matrix, right? You definitely don't want to do that. But I would also say that It's like people are going to be very inflexible, and we'll see both extremes. That's the other thing as well. We will see people who are almost too flexible, and then we will see people who only see things one way and are completely blinded. So this doesn't say that you have to that you have to believe the other side of anything. It just says being willing to be flexible enough to see all sides of the things that you're doing will make you very flexible and will make you very successful as well. Same thing in work or business. It's like people get very attached to certain ways of doing things in work or business. I know because I've been working with businesses for many years, very successfully in my other job, not job, business, one of my other businesses. And it's like I see it all the time where it's like people say things. I've worked with so many companies that will say things to me like, "Oh, that definitely doesn't work." Like I'll bring up some sort of technique and they'll be like, "Oh, that doesn't work," right? I'm always like, "Have you ever tried it?" And 9 times out of 10 they say no, or 10 times the other 1 time out of 10 they say yes, but they didn't really try, is what I find out, right? So it's like people become dogmatic in all areas of life. We just need to be flexible enough to say, sometimes I'm wrong, right? I am wrong sometimes. And, that's it. Just be flexible. Look at the other way of doing things. You have the Knight of Pentacles, a lot of progress. I feel progress here. I feel pretty good about the Knight of Pentacles. I'm not the biggest fan of the Knight of Pentacles because he's slow movement or no movement, but I feel pretty good. I feel like you're making progress towards something here. Probably a goal with the Eight of Pentacles, something you've been working on for a very long period of time. You have the Five of Swords. I feel like risk-taking. I do think it's an amazing time for Libra to take the risk of putting themselves out there, or take, risk of going for a job again. Like, it's like taking the risk of hurting yourself again. And I'm not talking about, like, literally hurting yourself. I'm speaking figuratively here. Like, if you know that it would hurt your feelings if you didn't get that job again, that's what we're talking about, right? And so I think taking that type of risk is what you could be doing. But I don't think you're going to get hurt this time. That's the thing. Things have changed. Things are different. With the Hangman, you have the Strength card. Yes, this is about listening to yourself as well. The Strength card, she is taming her inner voice on this card. So she is the one that is taking control. Ultimately, she is the one who's in ultimate control of her life. And I kind of feel like that's what you're doing, Libra, is like I feel like you are taking ultimate control of your life and making sure that you're controlling things that you want to have happen. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups can be your emotions overflowing, being very happy. So I do feel there could be a lot of happiness coming in for you with the Ace of Cups, a lot of joy coming in for you as well. Also, could be love offer. It could be someone who's been very slow, or something that has taken a long time for whatever reason. It's like I'm wondering if there's like a little bit of mystery here, Libra. Like this strikes me as a person you see. It's very weird because, when you think about it with the Moon card, if you've ever been outside on a full moon, you can see things around you, but the full moon casts shadows, and that's what's popping into my head for you here with this Moon card, is that you could be attracted to a person already. Like I feel like this person could be a person you see, because with the full moon we can kind of see, right? But there are shadows, there are things you don't know. It's like maybe this is a person you've never talked to before, but it's like maybe you see them every morning you go to Starbucks, right? Maybe you see the same person. Maybe this is a person who comes into Starbucks. Maybe you work at Starbucks and you're in love with one of your customers, right? Man, I could tell you some stories. I worked at Starbucks for years, and I could tell you some stories about stuff that went down, right? I should probably write a book about it, but it could be whatever. And it's like I feel like you need to find out. Luckily, I feel like there will be movement here, but I feel like you need to find out, especially if you're interested in a person that you see. For others, I feel like this is like a person that you will know, and I'm not worried about it. With the Five of Swords, you have the Ten of Pentacles. This is what you're holding yourself back from, right? With that Five of Swords. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. So if you were to take these big risks, I feel like you would be, attracting a lot of success with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is the tree of life, but it's like everything you want and desire. It is a card of building, leaving a legacy. And I definitely feel you are focused on like building long-term success in your life. That's definitely what I would do with that card as well. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says, "It is never truly the end." It says, "Beloved, in this, everything will be okay." You have this card that says, "Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining." Yes, that's what I was trying to say with that Hangman. It's like you need to be true to who you are and not everybody else, right? And so I think that there is an element of independence in this reading about like your belief systems, which is important. You also have that card that says it is never truly the end. And you have the death card, you have the moon, you have the Eight of Pentacles. On the death card, the king is dead underneath the Death Rider. And it just represents that even kings die. Even things that we think will last forever sometimes don't. And but I think we're in a time of change in general. We have Neptune in Aries, but it has been in Pisces for a very long period of time, and now it's going to be retrograding back into Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. We all believe certain things, and then we find out they're not true. Neptune in Pisces is like the 2-year-old or the 3-year-old that's like, why, every 2 seconds, right? About everything. So Neptune and Pisces, like, why do you believe this? And do you have a good freaking reason or not? And really, there doesn't have to be a good answer. That's the beautiful thing, is that you don't have to have an answer. It just wants you to look at it, right? And so there are things in life that we are probably all looking at that are establishments, that things we've believed for a long time, that we're just changing those beliefs. And, it's just the time that we're in. And by the way, this doesn't mean that anything will change. Not necessarily. It just means that we're just changing some things, like some of the beliefs. You have the moon. Again, it's like there's something you see. I definitely feel you see something with this card. I don't always think that's true. Sometimes I think with the moon, we are completely lost. Sometimes I think we are completely confused and lost and not sure where to go. I think there's something you see, but you're just not sure if it's real or not, And this could be a person. If it is a person, I would take a risk here and reach out or, flirt or do something. If this is something that you're working towards, again, I would set up a little experiment. I'm a big fan. I talk about this all the time. I'm a big fan of running experiments in life. I don't think we have to be perfect, I don't think we have to go crazy or any of that stuff, right? I just think we have to pay attention. And I just think we have to say, what if I did things this way or that way? I don't know. We just have to set up little experiments and try. And if we do that, that's where the success will come from. And I definitely feel that with the moon card. Here you go. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work, but he's just focusing on one thing at a time. Again, it sounds simple, but it totally changed my life. I used to be a crazy person, trying to do all these things at once. I got nothing done. And so what I started doing is setting up little 90-day experiments, right? I give myself 90 days to accomplish something. And, I pick one big project every single 90 days. And I give it 90 days, whether it looks like it's working or not during that time. People always ask me, do you quit after 30 days if it's not working? I'm like, well, if it's really bad, yes. But for the most part, no. I don't quit. I give it the full time to work because 90 days is a good amount of time. And so then what I do is at the end of the 90 days, I say, did this work or not? I look at the numbers. And if the answer is yes, I keep doing it. If the answer is no, I stop and do something else. I mean, you can literally look at this channel. You could just go through my catalog of videos and you can see all the experiments I run. So again, and now now I run multiple experiments because I can keep track over time, right? So as long as you're keeping track, you can do as many as you want. But the Eight of Pentacles would be a good card for focus and work and to do that. Eight of Pentacles is also material success on the horizon. I think I said this to you recently, Libra, but I definitely feel there could be money coming back from the past based off of work you've already done. So if you haven't gotten paid for something, work that you did, I feel there could be money coming in. With the Death card, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Definitely a positive change in your fortunes here. This is a change that you're creating. I really want to encourage people to create their own changes because that's the time that we're in. It's no one's going to change anything for us. And I think that's what we all need to realize is that we can create the world that we want to live in, but we have to do it. With the moon, you have the Four Cups. Maybe the fear of disappointment, right? So if this is love, he's been disappointed 3 times before, and that's why he's not accepting this cup into his life. But he needs to know that he learned the lessons from these 3 cups. He just has to apply those lessons to this cup, and he will be successful. So that's what you have to do here with the 4 cups, plain and simple. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a card of a gift from the universe. Six of Cups, usually the gift we receive is a turnaround, meaning we've been bumping up against an obstacle. Then when we get the Six of Cups, we can experience a turnaround, things can turn around for us or get better. And that's what I would be focusing on here. Six of Cups can also be a soulmate, and we have the Page of Cups right next to it. We go down this way as well, Ace of Cups. So I don't think the Six of Cups has to do with a person from the past. I know everybody reads it that way, but that's not what it represents. It's a card of innocence and nostalgia. It can represent thinking about the past, but it doesn't say the past is coming back. So, I feel this is a new person. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you can't make this up. This card says Enchanted Illusion. I didn't even see that. It says see through the veil of illusion and have the courage to see things as they really are. Moon. We were talking about this with the moon. The moon is an illusion. It's like you can see something, but it could be casting shadows. And, the other crazy thing is with the hangman, hangman is a perspective, right? Imagine if this right here were a statue, right? In the middle of the night, full moon, right? If you were to look at it from this side on a full moon, it would cast shadows this way. If you were to look at it from this side or over here, the illusion would be different based off the perspective, right? And so I think for a lot of you that you could be gaining maybe something has been confusing. Maybe you have been looking at it from all points of view like a crazy person. But again, you could finally be breaking the illusion, which would be amazing. With this energy. I think this could be leading to a lot of success. A lot of people have been having a lot of this healing energy, and one thing I will say is it does seem to be a healing month. Like everybody in the July readings had healing, so anything extra that you can do for yourself would be, health-wise would be good. You have the King of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Page of Cups. Again, definitely could be like a fiery, bold person that's coming in for you here if you're looking for love. The King of Wands is also about you being more courageous and bold and assertive, which I think everybody needs to at this time. We're definitely not like in a very passive time. There are certain passive things we should be doing, but I think the squeaky wheel gets the grease right now, and putting in the work and making things happen is kind of where it's at. So don't be afraid to put in the work. You have the Queen of Swords. I kind of feel like this is you. I feel like you're seeing things clearly. I feel like you're gaining a lot of clarity on the Moon card. So whatever the Moon card is, it's some sort of statue in your life. It's like, but maybe I should say it's like a trophy that you want to go and grab. It's like something you want to grab onto, but you haven't yet because it's like you haven't seen it clearly. And it could be a person, but doesn't have to be. I think the Moon could literally be anything. Could be a goal, wish, dream, something you're trying to accomplish. I feel like there's some sort of answer coming in for you, or it's like there's some sort of clarity coming in for you here. It feels good. You have the Page of Cups. So Page of Cups definitely could be an admirer. If you are looking for love, I feel this could be a very strong connection that's coming in for you. Definitely something that makes you very happy. So I feel like a lot of happiness and joy on the Page of Cups. I feel pretty good about this. I really don't have anything else to add on the Page of Cups. I thought I did, but I don't. So there you go. Whenever I don't know what to say, I just say it, right? There's nothing popping into my head. That's it. We're done. So let's see what is coming up for you. With the King of Wands, you have the Judgment card. Judgment is about a wake-up call and, receiving a wake-up call or having an aha moment. I would be paying attention to these aha moments. We have Uranus and Gemini. I've said to other signs, Uranus and Gemini is like a little bit electric. We could have like some spark ideas where it's like a spark of inspiration or just a random thought. And that really could be our higher self trying to communicate with us. And we should be paying attention to those thoughts because they will lead to more success. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Moon. The Moon is, again, I mean, basically what I said. I think that you are gaining clarity on whatever the Moon is. The Moon is something that you've been thinking about. It's something you've been pondering here, Libra. It's something you've been wondering about. A mysterious person or a mysterious situation in your life that you can't quite put your finger on. And I feel like you're finally figuring it out here. With the Page of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is resourcefulness. You have the Queen of Pentacles twice in this reading. So I feel for a lot of you that, this could be a very resourceful person that's coming in for you. It could also be you. I also feel that you have dreams, and I would be working towards your dreams with that. The Page of Cups, he has that fish in the cup, and that could be part of his dream. Queen of Pentacles says, time to get to work on your dream. Next, you have this funnel. It says, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. This is what everybody's been going through. Personally, I like this card because this is how life works. We have a goal in mind. That's like the end of the funnel, right? We start working towards it and we bump off the sides of the funnel, right? We are always course correcting in life, or we should be. We should be making mistakes, learning from those mistakes so we can get back on course, right? That's how life works. And, again, I think this is just saying this is what you've been through, life. You have this chair empty. It says someone is leaving your life. I feel like someone new is entering your life. I feel like that's what this should say is like, yes, there's an empty chair. There's an empty seat in your life. And I feel like there could be a person who is absolutely going to come plop their ass down in the seat and fill it. So if you want love, I feel pretty good about this. Definitely could be a new connection. You have this chain card. It says chain of events that will affect your life. A lot of people seem to be connecting the dots now. It's like we're in a time of truth in a lot of ways, and I think that a lot of people could be connecting dots based off of like all sorts of things that are going on in their lives. Like you could be looking back and you could be like, oh, I understand now why I had to learn those difficult lessons because it's leading to this. That's just what I feel there, and I feel it's good. Next, you have this woman. It says dealings or relationships with a woman. You have this bridge. It says successfully overcoming a problem. This could just be you that's overcoming issues or problems at this time, Libra. And, again, I think it's a good thing if you are working on overcoming obstacles. You have this dolphin card. It says financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. I literally said that earlier. I think I was talking about it on the Eight of Cups where I was saying that the Eight of Cups is like saying to me that you could be getting some rewards for work that you've already done. And so if you already have put in work, sorry, I'm trying not to choke on camera right now, but I'm choking. But you just don't know it because I'm not, but I am. But anyway, like I was saying, I feel like there could be some rewards from the past. But this looks really good, Libra. I love this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.